Okay, and welcome back to creating the engineering drawing for the bearing pedestal. If you haven't already got this open or downloaded it from the Blackboard Learning Management System, please do so now. So I've got it open here on the screen, and I'm going to go straight up here and create a new document, and I want a drawing. Okay to that. Now, if you haven't been using the standard sheet formats and the drawing templates that I've created that follow the AS 1100, you probably won't have it showing up here, but we want to use the A3 ISO Fitting and Machining NMT version 2 template. Alright, and that's the title block I've got there. I am going to make sure this box is checked to display sheet format. It normally is checked, but if you create one previously that you didn't use the sheet format, you just wanted an A3 sheet, that's why that would be deselected. So I'm going to click OK to that. Now, because I've got the drawing already open, the model already open I should say, I've got it here in the Open Documents selection window here. Now, if it wasn't already open, or you haven't downloaded, please download it now. Alright, and wherever you have downloaded it to, you need to go browse and browse to where that is. Okay, and so you can open it this way. I'm going to hit cancel because I've already got mine open, and there it is there. So up here, up the top, I've got the next arrow. I'm going to go to the next step in creating my engineering drawing, and by default, it wants to insert a view. What view, you ask? Well, if I look over here in the Properties Manager, you can see there's a whole heap of view orientations available to us, and at the moment, isometric is selected, so it would be inserting an isometric. The one I love is down the bottom here is Preview. I'm going to click that green tick box, and look at that, it gives me an actual preview. This is really good because if you haven't modeled the part, or you didn't model it, exactly this, you don't know which way it was orientated in the modeling on the front plane, top plane, right plane, and so forth, as to whether or not you've got the front view that we want. Now, as per the instructions, if you look at the drawing on Blackboard, it shows that the front view is looking at the front of the flange, as you can see I've got shown here. So this is what I want as my front view, and I also want it as the primary view. I'm not doing a section front view, so this is a really good view to start with, and it creates my primary view, so the first view that I'm going to insert. So I'm going to place that somewhere around here. When it does that and inserts the first view, it will automatically switch to now adding projected views. Now, the ones that we want a top view. Now, because we want to do a right section view or a half section view, I'm not going to insert a projected view at present. I do want an isometric, so I am going to come off at 45 degrees, as I can see here, and this is the orientation I want, and we'll create a half section isometric as I've done previous lessons shown there. So I'm just going to insert the isometric of that, and that's all the projected views I want to create for the time being. I'm going to hit the escape key to exit that. So now I just want to tidy things up. I believe I could go a bit bigger on the scale, so I'm going to edit the sheet properties. I'm going to go in and let's change it 1:1 for time being, and we'll see how that looks there. We might start losing a bit of drawing real estate here, so we might have to scale that isometric down, but the two main views look pretty decent size there. I'm going to change that to a solid fill with a line showing. Definitely want high quality. I'm going to use a custom scale here, and let's go for 1:2. No, let's use a custom user define, you can easily, because this is an isometric, there's no rules of engagement or the Australian standards when it comes to scaling an isometric view. I always consider the isometric view just a pictorial. It gives us a visual representation in the 3D world, and it's just to aid. So I'm just going to go 1.5. Makes it just slightly smaller, but not that big that we're going to lose so much real estate. And that's a nice little trick I've got for you. I'm not going to worry about adding a scale because you don't measure off of it. Should never scale off an engineering drawing anyway. But yeah, that's probably where I want to start with. I may or may not change that down the track to see how much I've got left. Okay, so now I've got my main views. I seem to be missing one of the center lines there. I don't know why the other one didn't come in, but let's turn on first up detail, hidden detail. So this is another reason why we have the primary view. I want the primary view to show the hidden detail there. Okay, now because it didn't insert the center line on this left hand hole for some reason, I'm going to manually insert that. So center line, and I'm just going to click those two hidden detail lines and click OK to that. That pretty much gets me predominantly all the lines I want. Now I definitely don't want these center lines in my isometric, and that pretty much has got where I want to start off with my two main views and an isometric view there. Okay, the last thing I want to do now is save my drawing. If you haven't noticed before, if you look up here in the main top of the window for SolidWorks, you'll see the part name. Now it's already given it, the drawing, a name, and that's usually a follow on from the model. Okay, but the indicator I want to highlight to you is the asterisk here, as you can see where my mouse is circling around there. The asterisk indicates that it has not been saved, whether it's been saved ever or you've made changes and it still needs saving. So this is always a good indicator to always keep looking up here. If you see the asterisk, hit the save button and save your work. So I'm going to hit the save button here. Now because I haven't saved my drawing as of yet, it's asking me whether or not I want to save not only the drawing but also the model. So it updates the information in the model that there is a drawing associated with this part. So I'm going to click yes, save all. Gives me a little pop-up window saying, do you want to change the name, or are you happy with the file name that's already been given? I'm always use the same part file name for the drawing. That's just the standard I use, so I'm going to click save and save my work. Now that I've saved it, you can see that the asterisk has now disappeared, and if I was to do some slight modifications here, look, I've even just clicked on this view here, so I've done some changes, and you can see the asterisk has now come back. So here in the drawing, it doesn't take much to trigger a save requirements, but this is a good indicator to help you whenever you don't know if you've made any savers, especially if you haven't done one for quite a while. Alright, so that completes this lesson. Next up, we'll create the section view here on the right hand side.